So if it is that you've only got one item, don't forget you can spin that item round to different shapes. So in other words, let's say this is better, I've got a banana here. Let's just say you've got one banana, but you wanted to have a whole bunch of bananas. Don't forget with this one item, as obvious as it sounds, you can turn this and twist this in different ways to get a whole bunch going down. You don't necessarily have to have 4 bananas in front of you. I know it sounds really obvious, but I just thought I'd mention that. Okay, so we've got these Chinese lanterns. So first of all, what I tend to do when I'm drawing, I will map out, like we did with the horse, just roughly map out where everything is going to go, just so you don't end up running out of space on your piece. Okay, so just a very quick squiggle. Okay, then you can start to fine tune it. So here I want you to be more conscious of your pencil marks. So try not to do very hard, solid lines like that. Try to kind of get more into that kind of flow state when you come to do it. Okay, so initially what I'm looking at is this triangle of space that's between here, the nothingness, the negative space. So I know if I kind of go like that and then like that, that's going to roughly start me off. Now, when you're looking at something, especially I found when you're drawing from life, we have binocular vision, so it's good to shut that off and just keep one eye closed and remember which eye it is, because otherwise it's going to look different according to which eye is open or closed. Now, when I'm judging this angle, I'm actually looking at the table. I'm not looking at this, I'm looking at the table, just like we did when we did our previous exercise. Then I'm coming in here. It doesn't matter if it's sketchy. Now again, I'm looking at this triangle of space just between this and the stalk, and that will show me that needs to. Okay, and then if you want to, you can put a little bit more detail in here. There's a triangle there, and then we're going to come down here. And again, now I'm looking at this big amount of space to judge where that one needs to land. So it looks like it goes like this, down, and then closing that one eye, I can see it's got quite a definite angle, this. Really kind of quite a harsh angle. And then we've got that centre. So you're really just mapping stuff out, because don't forget you're going to be putting watercolour on this. And you can see what a nice hobby this would be if you are in the garden and you pick something or you dry some flowers, how you can do something nice and quickly. Now I'm a little bit out here. I've made this, can you see this gap here is wider than this gap here? I'm not overly worried about it, but it's just something to bear in mind. It's something that if I was going to do it more accurately, really I should have started that one way up here actually to be a bit more accurate. Second one, very quickly, exactly the same. Say you were doing some of these days. Is this similar to what I did on a Domestica course? I'm only going to do one. So again, map it out roughly. Now the tendency is because if you use this left-hand thing, your left-hand side of your brain, you're going to be kind of doing an overly humpy hump in the middle. So instead, if you look at the picture carefully, it kind of goes up there, a little bit of a peak, flat, peak, and then down. And then what I tend to do then is I would be looking at, let me bring this in so you can see, I'd be looking at this little square shape to get the next petal in. And of course you could do this upside down with it being a photo. Now I'm looking at this negative space here, thinking, okay, it needs to go like that. Now I'm looking at this straight line that's going to help me do the second petal with a triangle of negative space in the middle. And then again, I'm looking at this triangle that's down here. And then this, instead of looking at these as petals, looking at them as all as one big shape. And then it goes across here. And then you can start, if you want to, this is one of the things about if you want to paint loose and free, is get your big shapes in first. Because we have a tendency as humans, as I say, if the other way of doing this, and this will make you too tight when you paint, is going in extremely tight and looking at every little bit and then thinking, all right, there's some little dots in there, and actually, oh, okay, well, let's finish that petal off first and shade that in, and then we'll do this, and then there's maybe a line there, and you'll find that you end up with a very tight kind of drawing or a very tight kind of painting. If you go with big shapes, big tones first, then you can decide, well, okay, how much detail am I going to put in that, and then how much am I going to leave to the imagination, because the viewer will make up the rest themselves.